Hello guys, thanks so much for coming along with me into lesson 5 of our HTML and CSS lesson series of lessons. Remember, at the end of this lesson, ensure that you subscribe to this channel. Okay, so today we're going to talk about HTML forms. We normally use forms to collect some data or some form of input from our users. Okay, so today I'm going to introduce you to some few HTML elements that you can use to integrate a form on your website or into your web app. So without talking too much, let's go over to brackets and then have some product session. Okay, I need my browser too. Yeah, all right. So this is a form that we're going to create. Okay, so we have some portion for collecting information: the name, last name, email, password, picture, short description, gender. Okay, so basically this is what we're going to create today. All right, so let's navigate back to our folder we created from previous lessons. Okay, and let's create a file and name it like form.html. Okay, all right, so I've added some markup here. I'm going to copy this. I'm sure by now you're familiar with this, so you're not going to go through it again. Okay, so I'll give it a title: registration form to the title. Okay, and then put an HTML tag, h2 tag here, and say registration. Registration. Okay, so let's preview that. Let's see. Okay, it's coming out. Let's add a form tag. Okay, and let's give it a method, say get. I will explain what this means later. Okay, and then so what we need is we need a first name, we need last name, email, password. So we're going to use first name, and we're going to use the input tag, and the type is text, as it was there, text. Okay, let's give it a name. A name, the tag name, which will be first name or F name. Okay, let's add last name. Let's use the same input tag with the same type as the type as test. Let's give it a name as L name. Then we need email, but we want to go to the next line. We're going to use a break, another break. Okay, and then we say email. We're going to use the same input tag, but then we're going to use input element, but we're going to use a different type. We're going to say email. So when you use email, it's going to check before you can submit a form. It will check to ensure that whatever you entered here is an email address, or else it will not allow you to submit the form. So let's give it a name. Say email address. Okay, and let's add password input. All right, so we're going to use a different type. We're going to call it password. Okay, let's give it a name. The reason we're giving a password, PS word, normally I remove the A. The reason we use a password so that when you type your password, it cannot be seen. Okay, all right, in the form. Okay, the next thing we need to add is picture. So we can bring a break here. We want to go to the next line, so another break. There's a picture, and the input type. We're going to use a different input type this time, file. Okay, so let's give it a name as name my picture, or my pic. All right, the next thing we need to add is short description. So we're going to use different element this time. So let's bring a break, another break, say shots description, and then we can bring a break here, and we use test area. All right, okay, let's give it a name. Let's say description. We can leave the ID for now. All right, so we can see this column, the COL is column, and this one is row. So if you change the column to, let's say 50, you see that the spans it changed 100. Okay, so but let's leave it at 50. I think 50 is fine. And if you change the rows, let's say 850, you see 30, 20. Okay, but let's leave it as 10 so it doesn't become too wide. All right, so the next thing we need to add is gender. Gender, let's check gender. So let's add a gender. So let's bring a break here, another break. The reason I'm using the break is to give some space between the previous element. So say gender. I'm gonna bring a break, and I'm gonna use inputs, but this time the type will be radio. Okay, but before I use the radio, let me put here as male, and then as radio. Okay, and then let's female inputs, the type should be radio. Okay, but look at here, when I try to select the male, I can also select the female. Okay, the browser cannot separate, understand that you can only select one at a time. So what we need to do is give it the same name. So we can give it a name, say gender, and give another name here, gender. So the browser will know that since they have the same name, the user can only select one at a time. You cannot select both at the same time. Okay, so let's bring a break, another break, and then the next thing we need to select add is choose your lessons. Okay, so let's add that one. So choose your lessons. Let's bring a break here, and we say HTML, bring an input tag, and then we change the type to checkbox. Okay, and then we bring CSS input, change the type to checkbox. Okay. Okay, so let's just copy this and add it. So all we need is JS, PHP, all we need. Okay, all right, so out of base, once you select them and you submit, they should have some values that can be sent to the, when I check this and then afterwards I submit it to the server, it should have some values that we send to the server so that it can be used to process. Okay, so what I can do is I will give it a name and say HTML, maybe. Yeah, I can use its name. Actually, you can use any name, but I'm going to use HTML for easy identification, and I'll get a value as HTML. Yeah, it can be any value. Okay, but there's the value I want to send to the server, so I'll give it another name. This one is a name and say CSS and value CSS. It can be any value or it can be any name, whatever you want to send to the server. But when for me, when these are selected, this is what I want to send to server for processing. I can give another name, JS, and value JS. The inputs, name, PHP, value PHP. Okay, the same goes with this one. So I'm going to give a value here and say it should be male. When it's selected and sent to the server, this is a value I want to send to the server so they can use for processing. So female, yeah. So basically, yeah. Okay, so the next thing we need to add is select your country. Okay, so we're going to use a select. So let's bring a break, another break. Just select. Let's give it a name as country. Let's ignore the ID, and let's add an option in the select box. Option, say visit the value 0, select country. But before that, I need to put select your country here. Select your country. Okay, let's bring a break here. Well, let's remove the break so they look similar to what we're doing. Okay, so select the country, and we can add another option. Let's say the value should be 1, and we can add one country, say Germany. Another option, the value should be 2. We can say USA. Option, value should be 3. So UK. Option, say Ghana. And say option 5, we can say Nigeria. Okay, so now when you click on here, we can have all these selected. Okay, another thing I want to show you is that you see this one can be disabled so that you can select it. You see right now I can select it. We can have different attributes that can be added. Disabled, you see, you cannot, once you click on it, you can add let me disable different thing. Sorry, the disabled support added here, disabled. So once it's disabled, when you click on it, you cannot select it. Okay, it cannot be selected. So it forces you to select some of either of these options instead of the first one. Okay, another thing is I can make automatically when I refresh, I can make another one selected. So when I can change this one to, let's say, can put selected here, and USA is automatically selected. All right, so all of these is part of it. It's part of the attributes that can be used on these elements or HTML tags. All right, so the next thing we need to add is the submit and the reset button. Okay, so let's bring a break here, another break, and say inputs type submit. Okay, so bring another inputs, so type reset. All right, so I think it's coming out exactly as we have here. Okay, so what you can do is we can also add enter a short description here. Okay, so what I can do is that the person come to your page and can add some information for you. Okay, say So all right, you can choose a file, you can add the information you want. Okay, select the gender, select the lessons you want. Okay, so one with the checkbox is that you can check severally. Okay, but with the radio button, you can actually check one at a time, and you can select the country, and you can submit. So once I submit, you see that these values selected, the values will be submitted to the server through the URL. So look at it. Okay, so we see here. Let's enlarge it so we can see something. Okay, so you see the F name, what is going to enter is John, the L name, D Watson, email, and then we have password and all that. Okay, so yeah, it will be further explained when we start using the server-side scripting language PHP, so that you can have a better understanding. But for now, this is what we this is a simple lesson that will help you understand and able to use the form on your website. Okay, so I wish that you practice this, and then we meet me on lesson 5 as I introduce you to CSS, where you can be able to make your designs much more beautiful. Okay, so see you in lesson 6. Thank you very much. If you did enjoy, and